Commencing today and over the remaining weeks of Term 3, we'll be streaming videos to help you navigate your way through the process of applying for courses on VTAC. Some weeks will be like today, a video to watch, and some weeks you'll be with your neighbourhood leader in a computer room doing parts of the application process. So Victorian Tertiary Admissions Centre, VTAC, is the central point for applications for Victorian universities, TAFEs and independent tertiary colleges. We often call these private providers. VTAC are also the organisation who calculate the ATAR, the Australian Tertiary Admissions Rank, for all Year 12 students. Students don't apply individually to each institution for courses when you're in Year 12. Instead, you submit one application through VTAC for up to 8 course preferences, and VTAC manages the distribution of your preferences across those courses. The key dates for the whole VTAC application process are here. It commences today with VTAC applications actually opening. The release of the results has been pushed back due to COVID, but aside from that, the actual application process remains unchanged. You need to get in your timely application by the 30th of September, which is during the school holidays. If you don't get the timely application in, that doesn't mean you're shut out of the system. It just means that the cost of putting an application goes from $41 up to over $100. And then on the 9th of October, which is the first week of next term, all the CEASE and scholarship applications close, which means that you must have all of your documentation in for that. Today's session, we're going to focus on finding courses and applying for courses. In further sessions, we'll talk about CEASE and scholarships and dealing with an offer. So, finding your courses. So VTAC's a great resource, it has lots of different information. They have Year 12 guides. They're available from the front page of the VTAC website, which is just www.vtac.edu.au. The Year 12 guide has all of the information about the whole process that you'll require. One of the tools available that you should be using and begin to understand is Course Search. It's the search engine for VTAC that allows you to compare courses and search across institutions. You can arrange your searches according to a particular area of interest. It might be nursing, or you can arrange your course searches according to the institution, for instance La Trobe, and what they offer at a particular campus. Another useful tool is the Prerequisite and Course Explorer. What this allows you to do is to enter the VCE program that you've got and identify all of the courses that you would meet the prerequisites for. You can refine the search by the particular area of interest, again, whether it's nursing or something else, the level of qualification, if it's degree or whether it's a diploma. And this is a really useful tool for you to be able to just open your eyes to the opportunities that you might have available to you. There are different types of tertiary courses. The two main groups are VET courses, so VET stands for Vocational Education and Training, and Higher Ed. The Higher Ed courses include the Advanced Diploma, Associate Degree, Bachelor Degree, and once you've completed a bachelor degree, any qualification above that becomes a graduate course. Higher education courses provide professional qualifications with an emphasis on knowledge, theory, personal attribution, and the development of professional and transferable skills. Some courses have fixed vocational outcomes leading to careers in specific areas like accountancy or nursing, while others are called generalist, and they have more flexible career goals, and it might be a business degree or a science degree. Higher education qualifications include the bachelor degree, which usually takes 3 to 4 years, must be completed at a university. Associate degrees or diplomas generally require between 1 and 2 years full-time study. Some offer an accelerated program of 1 year, and often with those courses, they can be pathways into a particular degree. Postgraduate studies can be studied after a bachelor's degree, and they include things like postgrad degrees, honours, master degrees or doctorates. Vocational education and training courses, or VET, provide trade, paraprofessional and professional qualifications, but their emphasis is on practical skills and capabilities and associated knowledge in particular industry areas. You can apply for some VET courses through VTAC. It's not as widespread, the opportunities on VTAC within VET. For instance, GoTAFE do not have any of their courses available on VTAC. You have to apply for GoTAFE VET courses, or the courses that GoTAFE runs, via a direct application, direct to the institution. I'm looking at the two tools we've just mentioned, Course Search and the Prerequisite Explorer, on www.vtac.edu.au. This is the front page of that website. It might look differently when you log on. It changes from time to time. Clicking on Course Search, it's a search engine, so I can enter the name of a particular course that I'm interested in. It might also autofill. You can filter the results by choosing particular universities. So if I was interested, for argument's sake, in just La Trobe University, I'll highlight that. Do the list of the courses, and this will bring up just nursing at La Trobe. So blue link, hyperlink, different campuses. You can do the 3-year Bachelor of Nursing, Albury-Wodonga, Bendigo, Melbourne, Mildura and Shepparton. A course design description, what the course is about. I can click on the major studies and it tells me that the course is mainly about nursing. Now that's not typical. Many courses will detail subject areas that you will be investigating. And here we've got some selection data from last year. This is listed as both ATAR and selection rank. You'll see that the ATARs range considerably. The ATARs are important, but what's more important is the selection rank, because the selection rank is the ATAR that you got together with any bonuses that the university applies to your application based on CEAS or subject bonuses or any other factors that they bring into account. So the lowest of the scores, the ATAR ranks that got into this course at Albury-Wodonga was 40. Yet after selection ranking bonuses had been applied, that brought that person up to 56. And that's why those two figures look different. We get lots of bonuses through La Trobe as a Greater Shepparton Secondary College student. This is important. The essential requirements and admission criteria. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but you'll see that there are essential things in order to be selected for that particular course. Prerequisites, like you must get a study score of at least 30 in English EAL or at least 25 in English for any of the other subjects. It has a requirement to prove your proficiency in English. That's new to nursing courses. And then there are some essential requirements for enrolment or graduation. For these particular ones, you don't have to have that at the time of applying, but you need to have it in place before you start the course. It then tells us a little bit more about the admissions criteria. It tells us that if you get a study score of 20 in Health and HD, any mathematics, phys ed or any science, they will give you 4 aggregate points per study bonus on top of your ATAR, and that's where the selection rank comes in. It also tells us that CEAS is going to be taken into account. It tells us that there's a regional adjustment, which means that country students will get extra bonuses for studying at country campuses. So we've already seen via Course Search the kind of things that might be requirements. So here's a slide to be able to identify all of those together. Prerequisites, which most university courses will have a prerequisite of some kind. Most have English as a prerequisite, and of course many have others. Another requirement may be that you attend and complete an interview, or you may need to submit a personal statement which describes your experience and interest in that particular field. That's pretty rare for a current Year 12 student to have to complete. In the performance type courses, auditions will often be one of the selection tools that they use, and there will be deadlines associated with that, so you need to follow that information carefully. And equally in the creativity and design areas, a folio might need to be presented, and there will be specific information for that particular course that you need to be conscious of. Teaching courses often require CASPA as a test that needs to be undertaken online prior to the offers being made, and you need to book in for that online. Subject adjustments have already been explained, and cease will be a thing that which will be taken into account by the universities also. So the two groups of essential requirements are those that need to be done before you can get an offer, like prerequisites, interview, audition, any pre-selection kit that might be required, and those that need to be completed before you can actually graduate in that particular course. So it might be having immunisations in a particular field, police checks, or working with children checks. Here's an example of a course that has 6 applicants for 4 positions, and you'll see listed their ATARs in chronological order. Now, the universities don't apply offers on the basis of ATAR purely. They do something which is to adjust the ATAR and take in other factors, and those factors have been previously mentioned, but they could include subject adjustments. In this instance, Jerry had 4 subject bonus points, which gave him a selection rank of 4 higher than his ATAR. Here you'll see that AJ, in fact, has gone from the 5th highest ATAR of trying to get into that particular course to having a selection rank which places them in 3rd place. So it's had a significant impact because they've had both C's and subject adjustment. And you'll see that, in fact, Emma, who had a higher ATAR than AJ, missed out on getting an offer at this stage. She might get one in subsequent rounds. Okay, the steps to apply. Well, the first part of applying is that you need to generate an account with VTAC, and you do that by registering. And you'll be doing that in your Learning Mentor classes next week, when your neighbourhood leader will identify your group to meet them in a computer room and start this process. And when you arrive there, you will receive a step-by-step guide on how to register and create an account. The first thing that you're going to need is your VCAR number, and your neighbourhood leader will be able to help you with that. The VCAR number is used to identify you as an individual, and then you will be provided a new number, a VTAC number. Once you've registered, this is what your portal will look like, and then this is the place where you'll go to be able to do all of the activities required on VTAC, change preferences, to put in a cease application or to put in a scholarship application, to do things like changing your contact details. And you'll receive also in here, in a mailbox, new emails from VTAC or from the institutions to say things that you have done or you haven't done and that you need to do. Once you've registered and created an account, then you can select to create an application. And one of the later steps of creating the application is when you get to actually put in your preferences. Now, it's really important that you put in your application before September 30th. That way you can beat the deadline for the cheaper option, and that will be a $41 fee if you do your application before the 30th of September. It doesn't matter what that application looks like in terms of the courses that you've got in your preferences. You can change that any point after having put in an application. So you get 8 preferences, and you can move those preferences up and down using the arrows. You can delete them using the red X's, though I suggest you don't do that by practice unless you're really convinced that you're going to remove something from your list, because it's possible that you could delete something that can't be re-added, particularly if a deadline has passed for that, like perhaps you had to have completed an interview, which you did, but you wouldn't then be able to re-add that to the list because VTAC wouldn't be able to distinguish between the fact that you've already been accepted as having done that particular thing. Supplementary offers are a question that will be asked of you in your application. Do you want to be considered for that? Now, I would be saying that you should consider a supplementary offer because it only comes into play if you don't get an offer in your first 2 rounds. So let's say, for instance, that you missed out on an offer from those first 2 rounds. The universities then will be made aware that you're interested in any other offers relating to the courses that you did actually have in your application. So they may contact you and suggest a course that you hadn't applied for, and that could lead to an equally good outcome for you. You can change your preferences as many times as you want, and that can be done almost at any stage. There are only a limited number of times in the year where you can't re-enter and change your preferences. Ultimately, you'll get your results on the 30th of December, and then you will have until 12 p.m. on Monday the 4th of January to be able to reorder your preferences according to what you know your results are, whether you've met prerequisites or whether there now are courses that you wish to be considered for that you didn't think you were going to be able to apply for. It's important you understand that the ATAR isn't the most significant thing. In fact, it's your selection rank. ATAR is a significant part of that, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Hope that's been useful, and next week we will register with VTAC and generate your first application.